good evening, everybody, and a special good evening to Noémie and Tim. And they are at the moment, where are you guys? You're in Switzerland, aren't you?
Yeah.
Switzerland, okay. And everyone must know that it's 9:30 their time because they've just put their 3 children to bed. They've got Yuki, who's 3, Ella, 5, and Lucy, who's 7. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk about what it's like to be a really positive prisoner. So that's great. So maybe just quickly, if you could just share with us just a little bit about yourselves, your background, and maybe just 1 or 2 key almost highlights of the lockdown so far. Over to you.
Okay. So we both, Tim and myself, both work full time. So we've both been home for the last 8 weeks now, week 9, with our 3 kids, and managing homeschooling for the 7-year-old and the 5-year-old, as well as managing
potty training.
As well as potty training our 3-year-old. Yeah, I think a lot of families have taken advantage of confinement to do that. It's amazing. And we've basically managed to just take rotations throughout the day, alternating working, homeschooling, daycare. And I would say on my side, the highlight of the last 9 weeks has been to have the time. I have a long commute for my work normally, and to actually be home before 6 or 7 p.m. and have the time in the afternoon to take the kids for a walk.
Nice.
And I've actually discovered behind our house beautiful walks in the forest, and which my husband has then discovered as well. And it's been just amazing. We've done so much walking, and the connection has been just tremendous.
You're both looking really healthy. I mean, you're looking really healthy. That's the good news. That's good.
We were super lucky. The first 6 weeks of lockdown, it didn't rain at all.
Yes.
So the kids were able to play in the garden all of the time. There was the trampoline, so there was plenty of activity and distraction to burn their energy.
No, that's super. Tim, what about you? Any other sort of highlights as far as you're concerned?
For me, the highlight is definitely the time saved in the commute. So the 1 hour in the evening, the 1 hour in the morning, and having three meals which we share every day as a whole family.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like almost there are some big silver linings already.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
well, we've been very, very, very spoiled, very lucky with.
Okay. Well, don't sound so cheerful because you're meant to be prisoners here, so you're looking a bit too happy. But listen, just tell us about some of the challenges that you've faced over the period of lockdown.
I would say for me, one of them has been around. So we talk about the 3 meals a day, and I love cooking, so I tend to be the one who manages meals the most. So the timing of the meals, the preparation of the meals, and the organization roughly of the meals, and that and a few other things have, for me, made me feel. I think week 6 was my breaking point in a way, where I started feeling the heaviness of the routine of constantly, watching the time, preparing the next meal and the next activity. And I have found that to be a little bit heavy after a while. The routine has also been around, it sounds silly, but things like cleaning the house and tidying up the laundry. I mean, we do that anyway, but it's just kind of been this thing that every day just keeps coming back. What's been interesting in this is that it's actually forced us a little bit to involve the kids more, which we hadn't so much done in the past, because we get home late and then we're just in the okay, let's eat, go to bed, and enjoy the weekends. And now they've actually really started taking a little bit of an action in just setting the table, helping in sorting their clothes. So it's little things, but I think it's been nice to involve them. Yeah. And I think for me, who likes a shiny house, it's been also about giving up the dream of a shiny house when you're in confinement with 3 young kids, and lowering my expectations a little bit. So that's
great, actually, really, really good. And I like the idea about the children doing some small things to help around the house. and that must be a great thing to learn at those sorts of ages, I would think.
Yeah. And I would say the second thing in terms of challenges has been around the homeschooling. I found that homeschooling 3 children at the same time, 3, 5, 7, kudos to teachers, because it's really difficult, especially when you're discovering material as you go and you don't really know what you're going towards, especially when you're not a teacher. And the learning process has been really interesting. The exchange with the kids through that has been great, but it's been really stressful for me to do that with the 3 at the same time, because they're still little, so the content is not difficult, but all of them need real attention. So what I started doing after week 2 is involve my parents in it. My dad used to be a teacher, retired teacher now. And so we established every morning 1 hour rotational Skype. So my 5-year-old goes first with her brother for 15 minutes. Then she goes on her own for half an hour. Then it goes to her sister, who goes on her own for half an hour to 45 minutes. And my dad and I, every Sunday night, would plan the what he would take from the teacher's planning that we could do remotely. And it's been fantastic. It's made it easier for me. It's given each child the sensation of having the feeling of having a special time. And it's kept us involved with my parents, so it's been actually quite nice.
It's been quite an by the sound of it, it's a real creative use of the resources you've got available that you probably wouldn't have used but for COVID-19.
Very true.
No,
yeah,
very good. Okay, Tim, what about yourself from your side? Any challenges that you've specifically faced and had to overcome?
The thought at the beginning was, wow, we're going to have so much time because we can't go out, we can't go and socialize, we can't meet friends, so we're going to have this huge amount of time to fill. And in fact, there's no time. So the biggest challenge for me is realizing that the time is going to get gobbled up very, very fast, regardless of how much or how little we try and do. There isn't time, and it doesn't come back as a resource.
And I mean, it's the time that you have had to give up everything around what Noémie's talking about with the kids. So is that where the time has all gone, as far as you're concerned?
For me, no, because the way we've split work, Noémie's worked, she's got up early and she's done from 7 till 10 in the morning working, and then I've worked from 10 till 12, and the kids' schooling was then planned that they would do the 10 till 12. But the things that I would normally do on a daily basis or normally aspire to achieve, okay, I want to do these things as well as going to work, as well as looking after the kids.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, you've got more time because you're not doing this travel that I was talking about earlier. But actually, there isn't additional time, despite the fact that we're at home all of the time. The same as Noémie's saying with folding clothes, doing laundry.
Yeah.
You start early in the morning and then you go to bed and you look at the floor and there are still kids' clothes ready to be folded for the next day on the floor.
Yes.
So you don't actually have more time. And so my thought is you're going to gain time because you're doing less travel, but no, definitely not.
Yeah. So I take that. So my sense of what we're saying is that it's been quite fulfilling in many respects, but you are probably at the point now where you are quite tired. And in marathon terms, if I'm saying you get to week 6, mile 20, and you hit the wall, and you think, I don't know if I can go on any further. So can I just ask you, how are you both feeling right now in a bigger sense of the word? What's your main feeling right now?
We took the children down to school on Tuesday, as that was kind of like yesterday. Yeah. So in Switzerland, the schools have gone back this week, and we walked back up from school with huge sadness, a feeling of, wow, things have changed and they're not going to go back to as they were before COVID-19 immediately, and maybe not for the next few months in the future. Walking up the hill and seeing the teacher in the class with her mask on, and the children sitting very spread out in the classroom, and it was kind of like is a wake-up call to a new reality, not a, we're not at mile 20 by a long way, because we're maybe at mile 7.
No.
And, you know, the lockdown may be easing, but it's a lot of very, very different feelings and things to learn.
Yes.
Shops are opening, but it's still very, very social distancing, makes you feel very detached from other people. It's very tough still.
No, I think that, so let's assume that's correct there. So we're at mile 7, and let's say you've had a timeout right now. And Noémie, you were saying that even this call is making you think about things and think about things in the future. So right now, if you're thinking about the next sort of few weeks, even months, you know, what in your head are you going to stop doing or start doing or continue doing to get through the next part of the marathon?
So for me, what I would keep doing, and we've spoken with my parents about that, is we're going to try to find ways to maintain that connection, that Skype connection, because it's been amazing for the kids. And I'm going to keep taking the kids out for walks and preserving that time with them. Yeah. It's been just little parentheses of extracting ourselves from everything and sharing a special bonds there.
Yes.
So that's what I would say the 2 main things that we started doing that I would keep doing. What I would stop now, and what I need and must stop now, is my work schedule has my workload has not diminished, and my deadlines have not moved, which means that I've been working. I would say every night. The kids go to bed, and I worked between 9 and 1 in the morning, and I'm up again at 6:30 working, and it's not sustainable. You're at mile 7, and you've been running a bit too fast the last 7 kilometers, and you need to slow down. Yeah. And for me, it's going to be my big exercise in the upcoming weeks, because even if school starts again, our life is definitely completely changed, and our work schedule will not be the same. And for me, it's really about that. It's about being more realistic about what I can and can't do, and pushing back more.
Yes, where you can say no just for self-preservation's sake.
Yeah. But we all know the situation is complex, and it's not that black and white, right? So
understand that.
So that's that, and then that's definitely what I will stop anyway. I can't continue working every night like I do, and then I turn into a monster. I'm smiling now, but yeah.
Okay.
He does too. I don't have the privilege of that, but yeah.
Okay.
And then what I would continue doing is and that's the thing. We were talking about lowering your expectations a little bit when you are in a different mode. And I think it would be that, and applying that to other places like work. And then the other thing I would say is we were doing it before, but I don't think not as well, which is being better at communicating. And I think communication is super mega critical in times like now, where emotions are all over the place, where there is a high level of uncertainty on what tomorrow will be. Yeah. And talking with our children, having very open discussions about what's going on, and without treating them as adults, because they're still 3, 5, 7. There are still things you can talk with them about, and I think we will we'll continue that, and tapping into their emotions as well. Get them to talk about how they feel, and to stay connected through that. I think that's something we really started doing better, and we need to continue that.
Okay. Kim, anything to add from your side?
We're what you called us prisoners, positive prisoners. We're both very smiley people, but we haven't smiled at each other a huge amount in the last 6 weeks. And the last 2 weeks, we have definitely started smiling at each other. So start a conversation with a smile when you ask the question, and it sets the expectation of the question so differently. So I think we've come through a pretty tough time with being locked down at home and having to share an office and office times like that. But definitely keep smiling, carry on smiling, and stop unnecessary expectations on ourselves if we can do everything, because we can't.
No, I think that's all great. I mean, and I have to say that I feel slightly guilty sitting here right now, because as I mentioned beforehand, I also have 3 children, but they've all kind of left home, and we don't have the same challenges that you have. But to be honest, I'm quite inspired by what I'm hearing, and in awe, because you're both smiling right now. And by the sounds of things, is that when you come through COVID-19, is that you will have learned so much. I'm just sure that's the case, and you will become more resilient. And the way that you're talking to your children sounds just fantastic. So I think I just maybe one last thing quite quickly to say. So just between just one silver lining that you hope in a word that you could take out of COVID-19 when it leaves our shores eventually, what would it be? A silver lining, the legacy of COVID-19, just in a sentence.
Never take anything for granted.
Okay, that's great. Tim, what about you?
Positivity.
Positivity. Okay, then that's it. Your smiling faces are in keeping with both of those phrases. So listen, I'd like to at that point leave you, because you must be shattered and it's time to get some well-earned rest.
A glass of wine.
Or two.
They're on the table.
On the table, ready, waiting. Okay, no, that's fantastic. Noémie and Tim, thank you so much for your time. Really good luck going forwards. I'm sure everyone will be dying to see the video when it gets published. Everybody, thank you for listening in, and please do keep safe, keep sane, and do keep smiling like Tim and Noémie. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
Thank you, Mark.
Bye-bye.